The only man to ever walk in the Hemsley Palace with a T-shirt and jeans on while everybody else was standing in line to get in. And they said, yes, sir, Mr. Rhodes, come and sit down. That's the American dream, Dusty Rhodes. That's the wine and diner with kings and queens. That's the man that rolls in the mud with the brothers. That's the same guy. The only man that when he goes to New Orleans, Louisiana, doesn't get charged, you understand, by the agency escorting, if you will. That's Dusty Rhodes, the American dream.
Oh, yeah!
Best there is, the best there was, or the best there ever will be.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man!
And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pro Wrestling Central. What up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Pro Wrestling Central. Today, we're going to talk about Money in the Bank. We're also going to talk about this week's episode of NXT. In studio, I have my good friend, JFlynn, former co-host of the Modern Maverick podcast. It's been a while since you sat in that chair, and I've been in contact with him in the last couple of weeks. I said, yeah, I got to come on my pro wrestling podcast. And with Money in the Bank coming out on Sunday, we decided to drop by and talk about Money in the Bank.
Yeah, well, Mr. Money on the mic.
Money on the mic.
What is up? It has been a long time, my friend.
Jesus, man, it's been a really
Sorry, I'm
long
getting
time.
Extra loud. We're all worried about the microphone levels now. I just got extra enthusiastic.
Okay, I see my levels on the screen, and it went boom.
Boom. Yeah, that's the extra sip of coffee there.
It's all good, man. It's been a while since
Yeah,
you've been here. Actually,
Yes.
the last time I saw you was, man, I can't even think the last time we got together.
Last time, yeah, it's been a little while.
Definitely saw you somewhere not here.
No, was that Mike and Lisa's, I think, maybe? Could it be? I don't even know. No?
Oh, man, that was a long time ago.
I don't know. Yeah, that was even longer.
Wow.
I don't know.
For your birthday, I think. Was it?
Fuck, I don't know.
That was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Anyway, a lot of things have happened since we last saw each other. I've been busy, and with this new podcast of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for, I know you're a pro wrestling fan, like me.
Yeah, well.
And you're a smart guy, and you understand how the business works.
Yeah, recently, reinvigorated as a wrestling fan. Well, towards our last few, well, no, more than the last few, but even on the Modern Maverick podcast, we started to discuss our love for wrestling, kind of being reignited by some awesome programming in NXT, which I've absolutely fallen in love with over the last 8 to 10 months, I guess.
The NXT product is by far something that's in right now, because of what's in pro wrestling it's indie wrestling.
Yeah.
ROH and everything else. It's definitely a different product. And I was watching the episode this week, and one thing that surprised me is that how much they can actually fit in 1 hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it makes me think, I'm like, I watch Raw, and then the first 2 hours, sometimes there's 3 wrestling matches.
Mm-hmm.
2 hours, 3 wrestling match. I watch 1 hour of NXT, and there's 5, sometimes 6 matches.
Yeah, and 2 of those matches are women's matches, which is even more incredible.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah.
And it blows my... But let's face it, the women talent in NXT is by far better than... Not, I wouldn't say by far, because there's a few wrestlers on the main roster that are pretty good.
There's a couple, but the rest of them must be shitting their pants right now, because as soon as these girls get called up, man, some of them are going to look
If something
really
happens
bad.
to Vince McMahon tomorrow, and he's unable to be the main guy at WWE, and Triple H and Stephanie become in charge like they are in NXT,
Yep.
there's definitely changes on the horizon.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when it comes to the women's division, and I believe the tag team as well.
Yeah, maybe they can start calling it the women's division again instead of the divas.
I've been saying this for a while now. I've been talking to my girlfriend. I said, I remember the women's division, and I think I think that WWE has invested so much into Diva, like that
name, the brand, especially with the reality show.
Yeah.
Which is a guilty pleasure of mine, by the way.
Yeah, me too. I watch it. I hate on the network that it's just repeat for like a week and a half until there's a new episode.
Yeah, where's my on-demand? God damn.
I have it on demand now with Videotron.
It works, yeah.
And it's not that good.
It's not that good?
Nah, it's not like in the state. Like I can't go and search like I want to watch an episode of Raw from 1997.
But on your computer you can't do that?
It doesn't work the same.
God
unless I haven't figured it out 100%. But it's like you click on something like if I want to watch like a Jake the Snake Roberts match from whatever, like I've heard that on the network in the state, you can just have all the matches, or have all the Nitro matches, or if you're into WCW Thunder, you can have all the. I don't know who that would be, but you know what I mean. But
you want to watch that Van Hammer versus Ken Norton match from '98,
like Hugh Morris. I was watching. They have like every Thursday. I know the network by heart now. So on Thursday they have Clash of the Champions. They always have an episode. And yesterday they had an episode. It was Clash of Champions 6 from 1988, I believe. And it was Flair versus Steamboat. Steamboat was the NWA champ.
Oh yeah, that's
it was pre WCW, and it was a 60-minute time limit, and it was best 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, that
and it went like 50 minutes. Flair ended up losing, but he had his foot on the rope, and the ref didn't see it. I was like amazed.
You gotta
they don't
Flair.
see that anymore, man.
No. I was watching part of the preview of the Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan documentary.
Yes,
that WWE's coming out. Daniel Bryan, because we're talking WWE universe, right? But he was talking about what his goals are for the future, and he's already headlined WrestleMania. He's won the belt, but he says my next goal. He goes, my goal always was to wrestle a 3-hour match. And that probably won't happen in the WWE, but it's been a long time since we've had a 60-man Iron Man match, so that would be something I'd like to do. And yeah, that would be cool because we don't see that stuff anymore.
But it used to happen a lot in the indies because I was watching the CM Punk. Did you watch
CM
the
Punk
CM
versus
Punk
Samoa Joe had some great battles that went to the 60-minute time draw.
And they did it week after week after week.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Because they used to, it's like the same match, well, not the same match, but the same opponents week after week after week. They would have a 60-minute
that feud
match.
Was awesome. Yeah, you
got guys I see now that wrestle for eight minutes. Was that my door that just someone knocked at my door?
Was it?
I don't care.
I don't know.
They wrestle like a 6-minute match and they seem blown out.
Yeah,
or they seem like they're so used to wrestling. Like it really makes me.
Well, we've seen some longer matches as of late, especially on Raw. I mean, we've seen a few 12, 15-minute matches, which is a nice change of pace. And if you compare the product to a few years ago, the mic time and promo time has dropped significantly in favor of more wrestling time. And have you also noticed they're starting to use the word wrestling again and wrestler?
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Because and it's kind of stupid that I'm saying this because obviously it's pro wrestling, but no, Vince McMahon for the longest time,
it's sports entertainment.
It's sports entertainment, right? And they would not refer to their guys as wrestlers or pro wrestlers. No. They were superstars.
That's right.
And now finally, I've heard a few people let the W word out. And I was like, wow, are we really going back to our old school ways? Maybe not quite so that much, but.
I remember John Cena used to always call it pro wrestling for a lot of the time. Then he used to apologize in the back sometimes. He'd cut a promo, and then he'd say, I'm sorry, and then he'd call it pro wrestling. Or he'd call it wrestling.
Sure.
That's what it is at the end of the day. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of years that I went and I didn't watch Raw or SmackDown, like the 2001 to like a lot of the whatever the era they used to call that, like that following the Attitude Era.
Yeah, they had the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Yeah,
which were apparently we missed some good matches. I was reading up on the history of it when Paul Heyman was running SmackDown, when they had Edge and Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit and those guys all kind of feuding and having these great matches week to week. Apparently that was a great time to be a wrestling.
I can imagine.
I don't know. I wasn't watching.
They're amazing wrestlers.
Because
like Eddie Guerrero and what Angle was there as well. Like, as much as
Angle,
you hate or love Angle, I mean,
he was amazing.
He was good.
He's still great in the ring, but I mean, he's not
the comedic sense from Angle is really something that I love. I love watching. But I think NXT and its popularity is making a big difference when it comes to how people view wrestling and how they put the product out there now. How WWE, like Vince McMahon, kind of has to go, okay, I get it. You know, I'm sure Triple H and Stephanie are like, we have to do this. We have to give this more time. We have to, less of the...
I've read some interviews with Triple H that basically said that Vince McMahon does not watch much of NXT. He doesn't really know what's going on down there that much.
So he doesn't know a lot of the wrestlers.
He doesn't, apparently, and it really is in the hands of Triple H to be running that show, and he's putting it in the hands of the performers themselves to do what they want to do and to deliver the promos they want to deliver, and to work the matches they want to work.
If you look behind the scene,
of course,
like they've shown a few clips of behind the scene in NXT, and he's involved in like the promo, how the guy walks to the ring and how the camera is positioned and stuff like that, and then they basically give it to the guy. You do whatever, you come up with something, and if we'll tweak it, but if it's good, it's good. You just go on and do it.
That's it.
There's none of that in WWE.
No, they've kind of really stifled their creativity.
They kind of go, all these guys are established.
Yeah.
Their entrance, everything, just come out to the ring, cut your promo, and everybody expects you to say this and do this, and then
we've seen exceptions.
Match. Yeah.
It's a shame that he got injured, but Tyson Kidd was doing some great stuff with Cesaro. I mean, another thing that's been that's kind of been brought back to life is the tag team division in the WWE, right? I mean, we've got some legitimate tag teams now, and it sucks that Tyson Kidd just got hurt.
Yeah.
In a match with Samoa Joe, no less, which is even more of a bummer because now you're worried. Oh no, are they worried that Joe's an unsafe worker? Are they going to take away the muscle buster from him? But apparently it was a fluke injury, if you hadn't heard. But he might be out for like a year.
Oh yeah, he fucked up his neck really bad.
But Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, I liked what they brought because there was something kind of creative and different, and they were really embracing the fact that they were a tag team, whether it came to the cool outfits and jackets they would get from week to week, the different poses they would do, and from doing the Hadouken and coming down the ramp and doing the outsider point, and then they had the Rick Steiner thing where he ran through the legs like Rick used to run between the legs of Scott. Just embracing all this different stuff and just kind of being fresh and unique.
They looked like they were having fun,
and they looked like they were having fun
because they were kind of thrown together as guy Cesaro. We don't really know what to do with him, and Tyson Kidd, like, let's put you guys together. And they embraced it. They're like, let's make something big, and they became tag team champions.
Well, first of all, they're two of the best technical wrestlers on the roster. I mean, Cesaro he's probably maybe the best wrestler in the world.
He's fucking retarded.
He's insane.
Yeah,
he really is a marvel.
Yeah,
and the only thing that hurts him is the fact that he's Swiss and he's got a bit of an accent. And lacks a bit of charisma, I guess.
Yeah, definitely lacks some charisma.
But
it helps that he's with Tyson Kidd, because I think if you give Tyson Kidd the mic, which we haven't seen, I don't think they'll either trust him. I think he has a lot of charisma.
I think so too. I think Cesaro does as well.
Yeah,
it's just that it comes off in a certain way that I think it would throw the average fan off. The average American who likes to see their hometown boy go, "Who's this guy with the funny accent?"
Yeah.
And he has he's got a certain style that he's developed. I've seen more stuff from them and heard more stuff from them on like the pre-shows, on the WWE network before a pay-per-view, before WrestleMania. They were with the pre-show panel, and they had a pretty good bit where he was busting Byron Saxton balls for a while, so you see they can be funny, but actually on TV, no, you don't really hear them talk.
It's a shame. You always see the same guys cutting the promos, But at least it gives me as a fan and a guy that now is kind of part of the business, gives me hope that it's on the rise. Because for a while the product was and you kind of like, and it was lacking superstar for a very long time. Yeah. And now they're kind of building up, like with Kevin Owens now coming on the main roster and people starting to know who he is, and this guy just beat John Cena, the staple of WWE, in his first official match on the main roster, and now it's like instant feud.
Yeah,
they're doing a good job, and the fact that people now know that it's all coming from NXT, like people are expecting so much from like 3 or 4 NXT guys. It's like the Finn Balor and name some, you got some down there.
I just worry what's going to happen to NXT once these guys get moved up. I mean, we talk about the NXT 5 between Hitami, Balor, Owens, Sami Zayn, Tyler Breeze, maybe to a bit of a lesser extent, Neville before them, who's already been called up, obviously. But once they're gone, I know they've got guys like Yuha Nation coming up, who I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know much about him. I've seen much of his stuff. This guy is an athletic fucking freak.
Yeah, they were talking about him yesterday on a podcast I listened to. And
just Google the Yuha combination. Anybody listening, if you want to see some guy really bring the best of both worlds when it comes to strength and agility, wow. He's like a Neville who's deceivingly strong, though you see it when he does that dead weight German suplex. Man.
Dude, did you see him lift Kevin Owens on Monday?
Yeah.
My girlfriend was like, I was like, holy shit. Like, just from like, I mean, Kevin is close to 300 pounds.
Yeah.
God damn. He's strong. He is strong. Anyway, let's go into NXT. You watch NXT this week?
I did, sir. Yeah, I set my PVR every week.
And
if I forget, I call my brother and say, record NXT. Or as he calls it, next. I said, it's not next. It's NXT, for fuck's sakes. Get it straight.
It's like the Nexus, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's what he's got in his head.
I watch it. I record it every week. I don't always... I'll fast forward through a lot of them, but this week, because I knew you said, let's talk about it on the podcast when I come down, I'm like, okay, I'll watch the match. So yesterday morning, when I thought you were coming, I was like, I gotta watch NXT because we're gonna talk about it. So I'm like, I'll watch and it was actually a fucking good episode.
Yeah,
it was really good. And I realized, like, number one, holy shit, they cram a lot in 1 hour.
Yeah,
there's no dead space, and they have promos, but promos are like quick, fun,
to the point,
and boom, it's finished. Not 12, 14 minutes of Seth Rollins and the Authority talking. Yeah. But again, they have an hour, you know. So
cram a lot into that hour.
They kicked off the show yesterday with this, I like how they bring back some of the main roster guys once in a while. They had Ryder and Mojo Rawley, whatever his name is.
Yeah, it was the first time I see this guy. Fuck, I've read this shit. I've read so much about this guy on the internet. I said, what the fuck is this guy?
I think he was injured, and this was like his comeback fight.
Yeah, but most of what I've read has not been positive. He's kind of like the butt of a lot of jokes on Reddit anyway, in Squared Circle.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. They seem to pick on him a bit. I don't know. Nobody seems to get or like his whole persona. I thought it was different.
A bit tacky.
It was a bit tacky, but
the fans in the crowd seem to attach.
The guy's definitely got spunk. He's got charisma. I'll give him that.
But sometimes when it's too over the top, it's like it gets
old. It's like this ain't 1987 anymore.
Yeah, it's fun like once or twice, and then if you're like, okay,
in small
dude,
doses,
we get it. Like we really get it.
Yeah,
like it's. You got to tone it down a little bit so people don't get like, I know all your spiel. Like, fucking come up with something new, you know?
Mind you, when you're good, you can get away with it because Enzo Amore, Christ, if there's one guy who can repeat that same phrase, but people love it, he's like the new road dog.
Outside his catchphrase, though, he's so good at the other stuff he comes.
You have to rewatch what he just said. What did he just say?
Yeah,
and he's pretty good, man. He's pretty witty. He's pretty smart. I like him.
You know what I like what he does sometimes is that thing where you got to go, what did he just fucking say? And I was listening to someone the other day describing when Jake the Snake used to cut a promo.
Yeah.
Remember Jake the Snake?
Yeah.
Some guys cut a promo. They're loud. They're out there for like 3 minutes. They're cutting a promo, and this is how they're talking.
No, not
Jake the Snake would start off like that and then bring it down. Yeah. So people had to go, wait, turn off what is he fucking saying? Then you have to pay attention because you're like, shit. Enzo does the same thing.
Yeah.
He's like, he's loud with his catchphrase, and then after that he cuts like a small piece of a phrase. They're like, whoa, what the fuck did he just say? Like he did the same thing during NXT. They were cutting a promo, and he said something, and I was like, oh, what did he just say? I got the end because they always finish with how you doing, and I was like, well, what did he say before though? Like I ain't got no time for this. He said something. I said, I got a lot of time.
Yeah,
but I ain't got no time for this.
And
then he walked out. Yeah. I'm like, this is so like small things.
Yeah.
And I'm really impressed with him. I hope Enzo can work on his in-ring wrestling. I think that's a bit of his downfall, but he's getting better.
Well, that last takeover match.
Yeah, that was pretty hardcore.
He showed a lot more than I had seen from him because I hadn't seen much other than him taking a few bumps and then
it was more like Kaz was in the ring taking
he
bumps
gets the hot tag and comes in, clears the ring, and then he throws him up. They do the what did they call the old assisted dive?
Yeah.
What they used to call that, the rocker dropper or something like that. Anyway, but
that was the Rock and Roll Express that used to do.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, I believe so. And then I think not Billy Gunn, but what's his name? Spark Plug Bob Holly. Remember when he was still Sparky Plug?
Holy fuck that!
I think he used to do when he tag teamed with like Bart Gunn for a while. Anyway,
yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, the NXT product in general. This week's episode was pretty good. I find the show has kind of like taken a bit of a step down since the last takeover, and it kind of sucks because if you know that they record all the 4 episodes like in the same day.
Yeah.
It kind of takes the luster out of it because you're like, okay, well, this shit's like a month old now. And if you notice now with Kevin Owens being brought up to the main roster, they've had to dub in certain audio.
Yeah.
to tie into the whole John Cena feud and whatnot. So it can tend to sound a little tacky, and the fact that this already happened a month ago kind of takes away from the allure of it all, that it's not live. But still, the shows, because Hideo Itami's hurt.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn is hurt.
Plus, now you're going to start probably seeing less of Kevin Owens, although they said he was going to work.
Owens.
Yeah,
so now you got to hope on Finn Balor to carry the load, along with like Tyler Breeze, who you see every week.
This brings me, like, we had the first match. I like that they start the match with a good tag team match, good pace, high energy. The face go over. Boom, we're in for the show. The crowd gets into it. Then they cut a promo on Finn Balor in Japan. Did you see that promo?
I flipped badass. Through it. I flipped through it quickly. I'm not too convinced with him on the mic yet.
No, it wasn't on a mic. It wasn't a promo. It was just like
talking to the camera. Yeah. Like he did the Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah.
Da-da. Like it was very nah. That was the one from the week before.
He's fighting
this one was a bit better.
Kevin Owens in Japan.
Yeah, he'll win the belt.
You think I think they're going to put the belt on him so that Kevin Owens doesn't have to like fucking lug that shit around when he gets into a real feud with
because he's signed that main roster contract.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of time, and that makes sense, right? Bring Balor over, have him win in Japan in front of his old fans, as he was huge, with the Bullet Club and New Japan Pro Wrestling.
But him too, he's a year away, if not less. Like he could be on the main roster right now. Like if you didn't have Neville is there now. He kind of fills that slot of high flyer, smaller guy, fast paced, like crowd loves him.
He's my favorite wrestler to watch on Raw. I mean, other than seeing what Kevin Owens is going to say now, and the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge. I mean, those are the three things I look forward to when I watch Raw. I want to see Neville fight. I want to see if he's going to do something different this week.
Yep.
I want to see what John Cena and Kevin Owens are up to. Just the U.S. Open Challenge in general, since he introduced it, since he won at WrestleMania, I've just enjoyed it from week to week. It's been one of my favorite segments.
Every time he comes on, me and my girlfriend so who is it? Who do you think it is? It brings that.
Yeah, well, you want that unexpected surprise. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
That was the key to the Attitude Era. Just from week to week, you had no idea what you were going to watch. So even though it's just a small sample size of it, not quite in the same level, but still, at least you get something. It's
extremely hard nowadays with the social media and everything is so transparent and out there. It's very hard to be like, oh, this is going to be a surprise. Even when it comes to pay-per-views, I've noticed that, you can bet on wrestling now. I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know how long that's been going on.
I don't know how. I know it exists. I don't know how long it's been.
Wrestling. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to, maybe I'm way like super, this is like my conspiracy theory. But I honestly think that depending on how big the line is, it definitely has an impact on the matches. Like, I remember the first time I noticed that there was betting lines was for WrestleMania. I was like, fuck, they're betting on this? And then to me, WrestleMania was like, he's going to win this. Dang. There's a lot of matches I got way wrong. Oh, yeah. Like, I was 100% convinced that Sting was going to go over Triple H.
Yeah. I think pretty much everyone expected that.
And then Triple H went over. And I was like, and then I went back and I looked at all the betting line, and it made sense as somebody losing or winning money, who everybody won on the bet. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. So I might be totally way off there, but I'm pretty sure that some of the matches are like, we'll wait to see what the betting line is, and then we'll decide what the outcome is day of. Well,
I don't know. You think so? Considering everything has to do with tie in with the storyline, and they've got a vision for everything.
Some don't, man.
Some don't. Example. Like the whole, like Sting and Triple H is a good example because there was no story, there was no continuity to that whole ordeal, and
Ryback and what's his face at Payback.
Oh, against Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt goes over. The feud is over, and then the next pay-per-view, Ryback wins the IC.
But some guys, they still don't know what to do, and Bray Wyatt is that guy right now. They have no fucking clue what to do with this guy.
He doesn't even wrestle anymore.
No.
Or if he does, he jobs to like Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
he gets him over because he's like still like somewhat of the top 3 heel in the.
But if he loses every freaking time, then nobody's gonna take him seriously.
He's already starting to lose credibility.
I don't know. I don't particularly believe of that when it comes to pro wrestling, that if a guy loses, like he loses his luster, you don't take him seriously. Like, it's not real. Like,
I know.
You know what I mean? No, but
I agree with you.
I get sucked into especially the last few months on what's it, the squared circle there on Reddit. and you're reading all the subtopics, and and a lot, these are where all the marks go, and this the marks and the smarks, and they talk about well, now he's damaged ever since he lost to Cena last year. Nobody will take him seriously. Oh, who's to fucking say? Like a month goes by. Think of Dean Ambrose. He had been losing ever since the Shield broke up, and since he lost that U.S. Championship, which he was champ for a while. And then after that, he would just lose every freaking week, lose every pay-per-view. But all of a sudden, he's fighting Seth Rollins. He's running around with the belt, and nobody remembers that he was jobbing for the better part of a year.
That's booking. They're booking him. That's it.
So all you need to do is just book for that period, and then boom, everyone will forget what happened the 6 months before. So I don't believe it. Dolph Ziggler, people say, "Oh, he's damaged." Well, you know what? I wasn't watching wrestling 3 years ago, and
he was champ.
Yeah, so he was champ, and I know this, so it's not hard for me to believe if within kayfabe as a wrestling fan to say that Dolph Ziggler could potentially win the belt again. Why not?
Yeah.
Sorry, the championship. That's another word they don't use. The
championship.
Belt. We don't use belt.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's but the element of surprise is definitely broken to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Especially in the major storylines.
Yeah.
So if I was there, man, it would have sometimes I'd be like, let's just flip a coin. When it comes to Money in the Bank, here's the thing. We'll get back to it at Money in the Bank, but I'll just say something. If you're going to have a Money in the Bank with 7 guys, you're trying to tell a story that these 7 guys have an equal opportunity to win that suitcase.
Yeah.
They should all have an equal chance because it's there. Everybody starts. That means anybody of these 7 guys could win. There shouldn't be a favorite. It's just who's the better wrestler, but one-on-one wrestler versus wrestling 6 other guys and that whole aspect. There shouldn't be a clear winner or a clear favorite. No. Why couldn't you have Kofi Kingston win the thing and then build a storyline from there? Why couldn't you have after that everybody's kind of a
if he wasn't in the New Day, it would be impossible for anybody to take that seriously. But with the whole New Day angle and the fact that they actually said it on Raw that if Kofi becomes Mr. Money in the Bank, we all do. Like, that would be great. Just bring over the Freebird rules over to the Money in the Bank #1 contendership. That would be hilarious.
But not just that, but then even if they don't do that, they have 2 guys that are there ready to beat up someone, the champion, and just get him ready. Like, all right, let's cash in right now. Like, and then they become a faction that's like they have the tag team belts, they have the championship. It's like, oh, now we got to hate them. You'll hate them either because they're good heels or because you think they don't deserve to have all that gold.
In the perfect world, he would be like the perfect transition champion. If you wanted to go from like heel to heel or heel to face, you know how they always do that, right? You know, like how Bret Hart lost the belt to Yokozuna only for Hulk Hogan to run to the ring and defend his honor and win the belt right back, things like that. So one of those where like a Kofi Kingston, it could be fun for like a month, and have New Day just fucking piss everybody off, like you say, have the tag belts, have the world title. But I mean that. Like,
but a heel champion is just that. It's a transition champion until they find the new face of the.
But that's it. But Seth Rollins is a heel now, so that analogy doesn't quite work. But you know what I mean.
So anyway, back to NXT.
Yes.
They cut a promo on Dana Brooke, which is this new chick, the one with the muscles.
Yeah, that was the most likable she's been as far as.
But she can't cut a promo.
Not really, but that was promo. Yeah, no, but that was her best work, I think, so far. That was the best. Like, okay,
it just gave her a glimpse of who this chick is. Yeah, nobody really knew who it was because she does good work in the ring. She has a good physique. It gets you. There's something about her.
Oh yeah,
But personality-wise, nobody knew what she was really about. Now you kind of give you a glimpse. They could have done a better job, especially at the end when there was like the close-up. She was sitting in the chair, and you're like, "Fuck, man!" Like, put a different filter, and so you can't see how much fucking makeup she has on.
Yeah, and
the first thing I noticed, I'm like, she's wearing like an inch of makeup. Like, do a better job. Like, I know there's certain women that don't really look with makeup.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if I look at the Bella twins with no makeup, they're still pretty.
Oh, they're still
beautiful.
Absolutely.
If I look at Paige with no makeup, she's still a beauty in my opinion. She still looks good. There's a lot of these women, Emma, whatever, like she's simple but she's pretty,
Yeah.
This woman looks like she's got mileage. And
yeah.
you could tell,
Yeah, and if they could like let some of the liposuction out of her lips, that might not be a bad idea. Not liposuction, but silicone or whatever that Botox, whatever the hell they put in that shit.
It really looked bad.
She looks, she's got that Melanie Griffith mouth.
She's going on that way, but it was a good promo to kind of like her, like to show people who she is.
Yeah.
Now, There's a lot of things about NXT I like. One of the things is sometimes you're not sure if is this a heel or their face.
Yeah.
And they kind of let the audience decide.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect example. Let's move on. The next match was Emma versus Blue Pants.
Yes.
Which, number one, I didn't know who fucking Blue Pants was.
I know of her. I don't know what her deal is. I've seen her wrestle a few times.
She's like a jobber.
Right? But the fans fucking love her.
Yeah.
And what's the deal with the name Blue Pants and the da-da-da-da Price is Right theme music, a cappella? I don't get it.
So different so unexpected that makes it like, this is, all right, I like this because, number one, you'll never see this on Raw.
Yeah, that'll never work on the main roster. No, exactly.
And another thing with NXT that I like they're doing, there's some guys that are obvious jobbers.
Yeah.
I like the jobber fact sometimes. Sometimes you just need to get a guy over and you don't really want to hurt someone else. Give him a fucking jobber for 3 minutes. Let him fucking destroy that guy and then cut a promo for 2 minutes. Insert a jobber thing. And the NXT has these guys that are most of the time up and comers, new guys that are signed, still really working on their craft. Like go in their job for 3-4 guys. Then all of a sudden you don't see him for a month and he shows up as a new character or as a new personality. Blue Pants is way over with the fans.
Yeah.
But she's obvious jobber. I don't think she's ever won a match on NXT.
I've never seen her. I've seen her a few times. I've never seen her win.
The Kaz and Enzo promo and Carmella, which I mean, when talking, I shut everything else off.
They're great.
I want to hear what they talk about. Like they're amazing. I can't wait to see them on the main roster. I think if they're going to give a push to the tag team division, these guys could definitely.
Oh, they'll be the new age outlaws of the next generation.
You know, people are going to gravitate around these guys.
Yeah.
Then you had Bull Dempsey against Tyler Breeze.
Bull Dempsey.
Yeah. That bit of running around the ring.
That was funny.
Funny as fuck.
That was funny.
One thing I noticed in this ring, like obviously Breeze got over.
Yeah.
Are they turning him face?
I'm starting to wonder.
He was smirking and smiling.
Yeah.
He was posing a little less. At the beginning, he was being himself when he entered the ring. When he was leaving the ring, I heard cheers.
Yeah.
And the way his demeanor, the way he was, like his facial expression, that's a face to me.
Yeah, well, he's always had lots of cheers. I mean, that's the thing with the NXT crowd. They choose who they like, regardless of whether they're heel or face. But the whole persona of Tyler Breeze, I don't know how that can work as a face. It can work to appease the fans, but as far as his character is concerned, I don't...
He's going to have to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, I think it'll limit the shelf life of his character if he becomes a face, because at a certain point, he kind of lose all the traits that made him
who he is. Yeah. So I think sometimes they like to try out. Let's see what kind of reaction we get. And I think that was he put Bull Dempsey's a face. Yeah, he's over. I mean, he's not really a heel guy.
Well, I don't know. He's kind of a tweener, I guess.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's just nobody.
He can be both,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I like his theme song. That's about it.
Yeah,
Bull. Like every wrestler should have that. Just have somebody scream their name. Seth Rollins. You know, that'd be fun. But yeah, Bull Dempsey. I mean, he's pretty fucking horrible though.
Yeah.
The first time I saw him, I said, "Oh, this is," because I like those guys. You know, like the Taz look. You always say he looks like a kind of like a Taz.
They have the dad bod. That's
you wear the old school, double singlet, and you tape up the wrists, and you come to fight. But he sucks. And that feud with Baron Corbin might have been able to help him out a bit, but no, he just got crushed every week and squashed every week. But now they're kind of making him a comedic act. I don't know. The whole thing with the Doritos, that was funny. That was funny. He was funny there. So it's like, okay, so maybe the guy can act.
Can they please insert Regal in more of these things?
Yeah.
Regal is so good in front of the camera.
He is.
As a heel or as a face, comedic, where he's so fucking good. I'd have him on every week, man, for at least 5 minutes.
Well, like you say, though, it's that 1 hour, and you
have to crush.
And I'm probably him saying, "Listen, I don't want
we
need to focus on the talent."
I get it. So I really get it.
But yeah, Regal's awesome.
But then they had Becky Lynch, which is another up and comer in the women's division.
And another example of a heel who became a face, and we can probably assume that's because the fans got behind her.
Yeah,
because she might be the best pure female wrestler in WWE. Period.
Better than Sasha Banks? I think Sasha Banks is one.
I love Sasha Banks is my favorite, but I just think as a wrestler, like technically, and the moves, her knowledge of wrestling moves, when she starts suplexing girls around and doing her stuff, and just the way she carries herself,
that definitely
in the ring, she looks like one of the guys.
She looks like a wrestler. She's
a little bigger. She's a little more athletic, a little more muscular than Sasha Banks. The only thing with Sasha Banks, I find she's very petite.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing that maybe when she gets moved up, in a 20,000 person stadium or arena, she may look a little tiny in the ring, when you're looking around.
Like Charlotte,
Charlotte is freaking giant,
and she's so good. Like one night she can easily crush everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's Ric Flair's daughter. Like,
but I love Sasha Banks, her character, her demeanor, everything.
The boss.
I'd marry this girl tomorrow if I met her. But
is she like? Is she black?
I don't know what her deal is.
She's like,
I don't know what.
Probably like a mix of like 6 different.
She seems like, I don't know. It's hard to tell because she's got another one with the makeup, and if you look at her early on, she looks a little different. After she colored her hair, and
she is Snoop Dogg's cousin though.
Is she really?
Yeah,
I had no idea. So obviously, she's got some
or
black
niece,
in her.
or cousin, one or the other, for sure. I read that on. I was trying to figure out what she was. I was on her Wikipedia page, and I just got distracted, but I had time to read that she was either her niece or cousin. But so Becky Lynch versus another jobber, Jessie McCabe. Not a jobber. She's one of the new Australian chicks.
She had a good look.
She looked good.
She's tall, good looking girl.
Yeah,
she seemed all right. And so far for the first match, I think it was her first NXT televised match anyway.
Yeah, she looked good.
She looked all right.
Yeah,
I don't get the mint green colored outfit though, of all colors to use. And that was the thing. I was watching it with my brother, and he's like, "Why? What kind of fucking ugly color is that?" And so maybe and that's what we were talking. Maybe when somebody starts, it's like, listen, don't wear anything too flashy, anything too cool just yet. We don't want you going over just yet. You're just there to, kind of get your feet wet and, whatnot for the crowd to get familiar with you. So maybe that's why, because who in the right mind would pick that color?
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
But she looked all right.
Yeah. And what else on NXT I'm going through? And I'm going to go
how about that move Becky Lynch did? I'd never seen that one before. Where she wrapped her behind her back and kind of cradled her arms and her legs.
Yeah.
And did like a reverse, kind of like a fall away body slam. I don't know what you would call it. That was pretty cool.
It was cool, but
it looked dangerous for half a second. Like she's gonna break her fucking arm.
I love moves like that.
Yeah.
The problem I have with that is that number one, McKay wasn't selling it right. Why? Because she took too much time to put her in the move, and you could tell she was helping her.
Yeah. You saw her kind of.
To me, I look at these little things sometimes and I go, like, why is your arm there? You're just waiting to get hooked.
But you know what? If you overanalyze, 90% of the moves are like that, right?
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
They're suplex. The guy's jumping.
Yeah,
right off the bat. So.
The one other thing I want to say about NXT, I'm not going to go through all the different things because we're running fast out of time here. Corbin you were saying about the music of Bull Dempsey. Baron Corbin's music is badass.
I like that.
Like when it
and with just the way the camera works too, where the lights go on and the cameraman runs up to him up the ramp. Yes, I find that's one of the best looking entrances.
He comes in and he walks and there's
3 spotlights,
and then when he stops and then it goes to that, and then the camera comes in like a fucking movie. Like I'm like, dude, that's badass.
Yeah,
and I don't know how his mic skills are because I've never.
I think they're non-existent.
They're non-existent.
I think so.
But dude, the guy has.
It's the first time I hear him making a sound in that match where he actually yelled out a couple of times. I've never even heard him yell.
Yeah. He's just that stone cold face. Like, I'm going in there, destruction, beat everybody up.
It's getting old, and the fans got fed up of it. And there's another example. Was a face, now he's heel.
Yeah, he's getting boring. It's getting boring. That's the thing. But his theme song. When I first saw him, I was like, "Well, this guy's got it." But okay, now we get it. Your destruction. He needs like when he went against Rhino, I'm like perfect thing. You should at least take a loss to Rhino, then build a little feud here and see what you're made of. People can get behind you. Like, oh, okay, he's tough, but fuck no, he goes over against Rhino, a vet, and he like in a pretty easy fashion. It was a good match, but.
That was probably his best and longest match he's had in NXT. But if you go back, like, Corbin's been there for a while, and he really was the Goldberg of NXT. He would come in and the fans would count the seconds to see how long his matches would be.
That,
But that's because literally every match was it was one move and then boom, he'd do his finishing move, which people have anointed online as the self-rock bottom. Because when he doesn't nail it really well, it looks like he's bottoming himself.
Oh yeah, I never realized that.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. But and then fans kind of turned on him and started chanting "boring" and Corbin's gonna bore you or whatever.
So it's not good for him, especially in NXT because they kind of dictate where you're going from there. You know what I mean? So if the fans boo you, from you go from being a face to being over, and then you're like getting booed because it's time for you to refresh your gimmick or do something else.
Yeah.
I think though the back room like Triple H are good at, so I don't think you're probably going to see that change. Like you said, it's pre-recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, for a few weeks you're like, shit, man, it's again and again. Then they correct something, and then you see it maybe only 4 weeks down the road.
Exactly. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why when you get like a bad stretch, and that's why I say like this. Well, not a bad stretch, but this stretch of episodes, like these 4. You know, these last 4 since the last takeover, it hasn't been up to par, I think, with the stuff we're used to seeing before. But that's because, you, like I say, if somebody gets hurt, you know, for those next few, you know, you're guaranteed for the next 4 episodes. If somebody got hurt and he's out for a week, well, he's missing a month's worth of television.
That's right.
You know, as far as NXT is concerned, the way they film it.
So,
but anyway.
Then you had Samoa Joe have his first match, which was all right.
It was all right. Can we please change his fucking theme music?
Yes.
Please. Please. Oh, God, is
so
it
horrible.
bad? It sounds like menu music from, like, Cruising USA or something. You know what I mean? Like,
It's not imposing.
It's nothing.
Like,
I don't know. It's menu music. I swear that's what it is.
oh, my God.
It's horrible.
When he came out, when the first time he came out, when the music hit,
Yeah.
it started off good.
Well, yeah, with the
and
old
then-
Godzilla imitation, dun dun dun.
yeah,
You know,
and then it goes into this like, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
yeah, it's really
Like, wow, man.
like he's had some badass theme music in the indies. You know, he used to come out to Simon Says, dun 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 dun. Get the fuck up, Simon Says. Get, you know,
that's
like
good. That's good.
You know, and then when he was champ in ROH, he had the whole mix of the champ is here and then blah blah blah. And then, yeah, and even in TNA, they did a decent job of combining the whole Godzilla theme with, you know, something imposing. But this new stuff, I don't know. Like, it better change for the next show. Because I knew it was going to be until this episode, because I knew they were all filmed up until now.
Yeah.
So I knew they weren't going to change his music from one match to the next, considering I think they're all filmed literally in the same day.
It's crazy.
But let's hope that they fix that, because...
Yeah, it's not...
But yeah, he looked all right. He looks in a lot better shape than he used to.
Yeah,
I'll give you that much.
Yeah. I'm happy. I'm happy because I think they can do a lot with him.
Oh, I loved him.
I think he can even be an addition to the main roster, like as the top mid-carder guy.
He could be. He could be. It's just, you know, he's a little old now. He's up in age. He's, 38? I mean, considering he spent 10 years in TNA and he had been in for at least, 5 years, I think, in ROH before that.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole reason I got back into wrestling after giving up on WWE in the 2000s, like we said earlier, I started watching TNA. And I got really, when the X Division was hot, and Samoa Joe was king of the universe over there, and then Kurt Angle came in, and we had the feud, which they really rushed, and they kind of botched that one because that should have been a slow burn, but they really just threw one match after another, 1 week to the next, and pay-per-view after next. And then it kind of got tired of it all afterwards. But I mean, Samoa Joe, CM Punk, and their rivalry back in the day, like that's what got me interested in watching WWE or ECW. They reinvented ECW.
That's right.
When CM Punk came up, I was like, fuck CM Punk. I've been watching him in ROH. Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah. And
now finally we're kind of getting that again with the Kevin Owens and all the guys getting signed. It's really cool. I don't know if you read some of the names that were brought in for trial. But names like Chuck Taylor and whatnot, you know, who's really a really fun personality. You should check him out.
Oh, yeah?
We're talking about Global Wrestling. He's signed to that Global Wrestling. He's a fun guy. So there's a lot of cool indie guys, and we'll see if maybe now, you know, they all kind of they all start getting signed and move up, and it'll really change the dynamic.
Yeah, I think it's needed now.
The WWE
it's definitely needed.
It's needed, and now's the time to do it.
Baby steps, but at least we're seeing a change, which I like. You know.
Yeah.
Thank God for NXT anyway. Like it's a good hour of my week that I enjoy watching for the most part, you know.
Yeah. But when Sami Zayn and Neville were still on, Kevin Owens had just showed up. I think that was really at its peak, and like Hideo Itami and Balor were like really like it just been there a couple of months. So let's hope. Like I said, if everyone gets called up, I mean it's a blessing and a curse to succeed in NXT because as good as you are, it makes the show great, but then you get called up, and then what happens to the rest of the show when you're left with who's
they have
remaining?
To build up new guys really fast to replace these guys.
However, did you hear the rumor about WWE being interested in purchasing Evolve Wrestling?
Oh, really?
This just came. Bill Meltzer mentioned it on his newsletter podcast thingy there that he does, Wrestling Insider. And yeah, Evolve doesn't have a lot of great names, but it's definitely got some indie talent there that's worth giving a shot. But
fill the gap in NXT now.
But the word is that NXT's become so popular that they want to run it as a third touring brand or a second touring brand. Raw, I mean, Raw and SmackDown are essentially the same thing, right? It's not like they have separated rosters, but NXT would be like the other one. And then Evolve, or if they would change it to something else, would now become the developmental. So who knows? Maybe NXT will remain NXT, just at a bigger capacity, you know,
that would
bigger
be
venues. That would be awesome.
Doing house shows.
So, and they're getting great they're getting great audiences. WrestleMania weekend, they drew 5,000 people in San Jose, sold out in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So who knows?
It's all good things and all good news, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, these are good problems to have, right? Now but you know, it's selfish of me to think that, oh no, if these NXT guys get called up, like I bought WWE 2K14 a couple of weeks ago, and this isn't even the latest one; it's the one before.
Yeah.
Because the newest one apparently sucks on PS3. But anyway, just so I could download all the guys that have been created online, because I have 13, but they shut the online servers down, so I can't download anything. Oh, really? So I was like, fuck it, I want all these, and guys are amazing online. Like, so I've downloaded them all. So I've got my entire NXT roster downloaded and everything. You know, like I'm a sucker for it now. It really is. It really is interesting to see at my age that all of a sudden I'm just in love with wrestling again. Well, to a certain extent,
too.
Not quite like I used to be. Obviously, that was
but you're older,
in its
you're
heyday,
more mature.
You know, it was the thing to do, was to watch wrestling. But now it's fun.
See it in a different light too.
To be honest, it's more enjoyable than watching UFC.
Yeah.
These days, you know, with the UFC, honestly, I mean, I had this conversation with friends. I said, at least I know WWE's fake.
Yeah.
You know, like, I know.
The drama that comes with the wrestling is fabricated.
Yeah.
And has to be expected.
Yeah.
The whole drama with the UFC and everything, and the lackluster performance, I want to say, but the lackluster cards and pay-per-views, it's getting old. It's like, Jesus Christ, I don't have time to invest my time in 586 fucking roster guys.
No.
That 500 of them I don't know. I'm just gonna fuck, I don't have time for this shit, you know. Plus, you know, I don't know, I enjoy, like you said, it's different. I see it a different light with the social media era now with the stuff. It's way more fun to get.
It makes it more fun. Yeah, exactly.
So we got about 20 minutes. So let's get into Money in the Bank. Oh, before I get into Money in the Bank, I have a point to make. Like Rowan and Harper, they're a tag team.
Yeah.
They're busting out the 3D.
Yeah, but you know what? For some reason, did it cut out on your TV? For some reason, there was like a glitch, and I didn't get to actually see the move.
Oh, really? No, I saw the move.
I guess it was the bell feed. It kind of, and I had recorded. I wasn't watching it live.
They did it twice, actually.
Really?
They hit it on the guy. They got the pin, and then I don't remember who they were fighting, to be honest.
I can't even remember. Oh, they were the Matadors.
The Matadors. The other guy ran in after the match, and they did it on him.
Oh, so then I skipped through that part. But yeah, it kind of like skipped. So I'm like, did they just do the 3D?
Yeah, but it's been rumored online that they got a new finisher in the 3D. And I'm like, okay, here's my thing. Way out of there. I'm like, are they doing this as a build-up to bring back the Dudley Boys?
Well, that's what the internet is hoping for.
Some people aren't. Like, if they're not capable of running matches on a weekly basis because they're too old, I don't want to see them.
Oh, no, they can, man. They're in the best. Bubba is in the best shape of his life.
He was a badass in TNA before he came over, before his contract expired.
He completely reinvented himself physically. And he's always been amazing on the mic.
Yeah.
So now that he's got the physical package and visually he looks the part. It doesn't matter that he's 40 years old. If he looks better now, and he looked great when he showed up at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So I've been hoping for them to come
because
back
it's
kind
of weird that they kind of use that, because it is a finisher that's pretty popular because it's really only related to the Dudley Boys, and they're calling it the 3D.
Yeah.
People online were like, "Oh, they're bringing back the 3D," and I was like, are they doing this so all of a sudden the Dudley Boys are going to show up and
that would be great, because let's not kid ourselves here.
Using our moves?
Dudley Boys, greatest tag team of all time.
Yeah, they were pretty good. Back when tag teams were relevant, you know what I mean, and the belts actually meant something, you know.
And they stayed a tag team for so long, which is something you don't.
I like
really
the Nasty Boys. Back in the day, they were really nasty. Like you could tell these guys were like real fuckos, you know.
Yeah.
Outside of the ring, because I've heard stories that you know, beating up guys in the parking lot, and then it was for real, you know. But so that was my little
But yeah, but let's hope.
note.
But Harper and Rowan should be reunited with Bray Wyatt. I'm talking about earlier, they don't know what to do with Bray Wyatt. Just bring the family back together again. Like, that was great stuff. Why did they have to break them up? I see why they broke up the Shield, because they saw potential in all three guys to become the future. Everyone says the future Stone Cold, the future Rock, the future Shawn Michaels, and the three of them is what they kind of see, right? But okay, fine, fair enough. But Harper and Rowan didn't really work on their own. No. Bray Wyatt's not working on his own.
Just bring him back together.
And start recruiting other people. Get a fucking huge cult. Go get Bo Dallas too. Bo Dallas could be his recruiter.
Just bring back the good old days of everybody was in
Throw
a group.
in Fandango, because you don't know what to do with Fandango anymore. Give him a makeover. And Fandango's been brainwashed by Bray Wyatt.
I hate it because he's a good wrestler.
He is, and he's got a good look. He's a good looking guy. He's got good size. He's good, athletic.
I don't know what they're going to do with Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. I hope he just doesn't get...
Give him a monster push, please.
Yeah.
Let him be the new IC champ. Have him beat Ryback.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
I'm pretty excited about this pay-per-view for a few reasons, because I have my fantasy bookings.
Okay.
That I would, if this would happen, I would fucking be happy, because to me it makes sense this way to go. And I'll tell you what I think should happen, and then what I think is going to happen. Obviously the obvious decisions, right? So number one thing I want to say is the pre-show fight is Barrett versus R-Truth. The fucking promo he cut on Raw when he came out and he said, well, I'm not in the Money in the Bank. And that was gold.
That was funny.
I was like, fuck, that's funny. But why is Barrett on the pre-show? Why are you giving him the King of the Ring, making him ring the King of the Ring, and then you're booking him in superstar matches?
I don't get it. I don't understand the deal with him. And he jobs like week in and week out. I mean, who loses to R-Truth?
Fuck, man.
Wade Barrett does.
There's a few,
nobody else does.
It blows my mind. Like, is there something in the back we don't know about? Is he a real asshole that people just don't want to give him a chance? Like, it's been his career. It's been pretty much this, where he gets a push, put a belt on him, and he loses it, and then all of a sudden he's jobbing.
Yeah, even when he was IC champ before WrestleMania, they had him.
He was losing
every week. As champ.
It
made no sense. I don't get the booking there. What's going on with him?
Why make him win King of the Ring? Why don't put him on someone you're going to give a push?
I've read that it was to basically get rid of the bad news gimmick, because he's supposed to be a heel and the fans love the whole bad news. I don't get what the big, like, I've got some bad news for you. Yay! Like, okay, it's a one line.
I like King Barrett because he's English and it's
it suits. But it suits him because you know, I mean, already being British helps, but. I think it was to kind of get him away from that tweener territory that he had fallen in, where the fans, you know.
How about you just stop calling him bad news? Just call him Wade Barrett.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Bad News Barrett was a good thing anyway. I don't get it. I don't know. And why give him the old fucking crown and scepter and cape from 1996? Like, for the love of God.
The scepter breaks every other day.
The scepter, fuck. I mean, you can buy it in aisle 6 at Toys R Us. It's ridiculous.
I saw it at Dollar Store the other day for $2.50.
There you go.
It's the exact same one, just fucking.
So I don't get where they're going with him, and I don't get why he's on the pre-show. I mean, R-Truth makes sense. I mean, that's his spot on the card. I mean, he's there because, you know, the kids like him. People like to sing along with him, and you know, he's entertaining. He's flashy, but the guy is 40-something years old. His best days are behind him. Yeah. Not that he was ever amazing, but he's there.
Good in the ring.
He's there. He's he does his job.
He's comedic and people enjoy him. So,
but Wade Barrett, it sucks.
I'm not even going to give my prediction because it doesn't really matter for that match.
R-Truth will probably win.
That'd be crazy. Ryback versus the Big Show. Here's another question mark. Now, I get Ryback. I called it. On the first ever podcast of Pro Wrestling Central, I was
that he would win.
I was giving like a preview of the Elimination Chamber, and I said, in my opinion, they had the belt on a face. They were giving it a face push with Daniel Bryan. It would just make sense that they would just replace Bryan with another face. And the other main face looks to be Ryback. Yeah. Although his gimmick and his whole like get behind me because you remember what happened to me. Thing like, like I shouldn't be here, but I am here, and perseverance and blah blah blah. It's getting old quickly. I expect when he won, I'm like, I knew it. I'm like, okay, good for him. I'm happy for him. But how long are you gonna push this off? Like, how long is Ryback gonna be champion? You know,
probably not long.
So, but the Big Show is definitely not winning at Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
let's hope not.
I mean, Raw was so much better without having to watch the Big Show week in and week out, and then he shows up and he's right into the title picture for the IC belt, and I don't know. I'm so fed up of watching him.
Yeah,
like dude, he's slow. Every move is just. Ugh.
I can't invest in him.
Painful.
I can't believe in him being a champion.
No, and just nobody wants to see it. So I don't know. It's either the easy way of building Ryback as the monster, did a good job of impressing the crowd, giving him the shell shock, picking him up on his shoulders like he did. That was pretty badass. I mean, fuck, it looked like his face was going to explode. It was getting so red.
I was a 500-pound guy.
Yeah.
I mean, and if it's to do the job of getting Ryback over a little bit, then it's just this match is going to serve its purpose.
I mean, it kind of helped with the Roman Reigns feud. It got him a little more over with the crowd. You don't really hear him get booed too much anymore.
Yeah. So I'll pick Ryback here.
Yeah, I agree.
New Day versus Primetime Players. Although I'm excited to see Primetime Players getting somewhat of a push.
Yeah.
It's like new blood and stuff.
Sure.
New Day is obviously going to get over here.
Yeah. They're going to be champs for like the next 3 years.
Yeah. So I think they're
don't
doing
take the belts away from those guys.
No, they're good. They're good heels and they're entertaining.
Oh, they're hilarious.
You know.
They're
Have you noticed how Xavier Woods outside just screams
he's
random
the best.
shit?
Oh, you got to listen to everything he says.
He's awesome.
He's great.
Yeah.
That guy
that
is
POP thing that they're using.
Yeah.
I like that they used it once. To stop using it because it's don't overuse it.
Yeah.
They use it every time now on the mic, but I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, they're good. So the Primetime Players will probably get. It'll be another
solid match,
screw job finish.
Yeah,
they'll cheat to win.
But that's fine. What you're expecting. That's what you want.
To do. They're heel champs.
Yeah. Then you got the Bella versus Paige, which I don't know anymore. It's like kind of a coin flip. I thought Nikki was going to lose the belt against Naomi.
Not until she passes AJ Lee's record for days as champ. I think that's what it is. They want to erase AJ Lee from the records books,
and then
the record books, and say, and
how long
Nikki Bella was not long. She was like a month or two away. So I don't know. That's I'd have to do the math.
That would make sense.
But
that would make sense.
That's what I think. One of those okay, let's make the current superstar or diva in this case. The one that we mentioned as far as.
Because they're the only divas that are wrestling is Nikki Bella, Paige, and Naomi.
Yeah. And Naomi, fuck, she's got to get her shit together because she's good, but fuck, she's like become the queen of botchamania, this girl, for real.
But
But she's so athletic.
Her Tamina is the worst fucking wrestler. I'm like, you're Jimmy Snuka's daughter, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
How can you be so bad at wrestling? And why are you back here? Like, fuck, man. Yeah. Be the Diesel. Stay outside. Don't do anything. That's it.
Yeah, be her Diesel.
Don't get in the ring.
Absolutely.
Then you get you put them together, and all of a sudden, both of them are botching moves. You're like, fuck, man. That's why she hasn't been on TV for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
No, I'm sure, yeah.
They're like, we gave you a chance, and you fucked it up.
Well, at the pay-per-view, she almost fucking killed Paige with the reverse Frankensteiner.
It was horrible.
When I saw her go for that move, first of all, the Tower of Doom spot with the German suplex from the top of the tower. I was off the top rope. What the fuck? Are they going to really?
Kill her.
They're really okay letting these girls go this match. And I figured, okay, they're worried about NXT and they're all trying to up their game. So, okay, respect for that. But the reverse Frankenstein, I said, they don't allow anybody to do that move. Are you nuts? And fuck, we saw why. You won't see her doing that move anymore.
So I'm glad that Paige, because let's be honest, if there's anybody that should be championed based on their skills right now on the main roster, it should be Paige.
Even though she's kind of, her work has dipped a bit.
You know why?
And if I hear her say, "This is my house," one more time, fucking Christ.
Stuff a sock in it or something
Think
else.
of another line. Yeah. Please, this is my house.
But I think she changed her style from NXT to the main
because she's got to adapt to what she has to work with. Though I think Nikki's
why is Natalya not wrestling?
I don't know. Maybe she's got an injury or something.
But she's the best wrestler they have on the roster.
Yeah, I don't get it.
God damn.
But I think Nikki's gotten really good, and I'm in love with her, so she can keep the belt. I don't care. I don't know if Paige wins it yet. Like I said, I'd have to do the math, but no, I'd say if anything, SummerSlam is when.
They lose it, yeah.
That makes sense.
It gives an opportunity to
especially
have
now that they seem to be going back to being heels again.
Yeah.
So they can now drag this on for a little bit as heels.
That's good.
That's true. They spent a few weeks there as working the crowd as faces or tweeners anyway.
Yeah. Cena Owens.
This is the one I don't know. I don't know how to predict because I have no idea what to think of the first match, and I don't know what they do with this.
Most people seem to believe that Owens is going to go over again. but maybe in more of a, cheat way.
In dastardly fashion.
Or Cena gets over and then there's a rubber match at SummerSlam.
I don't know. I don't know what to think because the way they've built up Owens so far, it just seems that if he loses, his just momentum gets like, it's just the rug swept from underneath him.
I would be okay with a double DQ or like something like that, so there's no winner, no loser.
That's
what I expected in the first match.
Well, that's it. I figured he'd get DQ'd and give the old apron power bomb or something and get himself disqualified or not give a shit. Just keep hitting him until the ref DQs him or whatever or they both get counted out. I don't know
because it's not a title match, so who gives a fuck who wins? Just beat up John Cena until the ref.
But John Cena doesn't lose. Did you know that's only the third time he had lost clean in like the last 5 years? The only guys have done that I think were Brock and Daniel Bryan or something crazy like that. I don't even know if Daniel Bryan did.
Props to Cena for putting him over.
Yeah, everyone shits on Cena, but he's a company man. Dude, he's not. He hasn't been winning all those years because it was his ego. It was because Vince didn't want him to lose because he wanted to keep him as this generation's Hulk Hogan. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Safe enough. I respect the guy. I think in the ring, technically, he's there's certain holes in his game, like when he took that rolling.
Pop up power bomb?
No,
because he doesn't take that move
in the corner. He can't bump. He bumps on his.
He bumps on his elbows. Yeah,
it's like dude, who does that? We talk about it at the gym all the time.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, but he when he's in the corner sitting down and Owen.
The flip
cannonball.
The cannonball, yeah.
Dude, like Neville took it on Monday straight up. Yeah. That's how you're supposed to take it. Fucking Cena took it on the shoulder halfway out of the way.
Yeah.
Pussied out a little bit out of it, but it's Cena.
It's Cena. Yeah, he's got to stay healthy, man.
Protect that.
Can't get
face,
hurt.
I think I'm expecting maybe a double DQ something. I can't. Or Owens gets over again, and then it's like they still keep feuding because I think the feud's going to end at SummerSlam. But I'm looking forward to who are they going to match Owens with after Cena and how they're going to build him. It's easy to build a heel against Cena. Just put him over. Cena's doing a good job. But then after, who are they going to fucking put him with, I can't wait. The Money in the Bank ladder match. You got Neville, Orton, Kofi, Sheamus, Kane, Ziggler, Reigns. Here's my thought. Kane now is in the match. He was in the match last year, and he helped out Rollins.
Yeah.
Right? Now they're doing the whole thing with Rollins is like they're kind of separating from the Authority.
Yeah, that's what they're hinting at. Yeah.
Either that's a total shoot, and it's like, we got you, you fucking guys.
Oh, work, you mean? Yeah.
A work, I'm sorry. Like, we got you, but with Rollins getting pinned by J&J Security on Monday.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do that to your champion, number one? There's something going on here. And here's my thought. I think Kane is coming in to help someone in the Money in the Bank like he did last year. Okay. There's two people that I think has the potential of joining the Authority. Sheamus, which I hope not.
God, no.
I hope not. But he's a top heel. People hate him really well. Or they turn Roman Reigns heel, which I think is needed. If they expect him to be the top baby face, he needs to be a big heel before he becomes that company face to replace Cena.
That would make the most sense, which is why I'm worried it won't happen. But
yeah, I think here's what I want it to happen: Reigns wins with the help of Kane and cashes in that same night. After the either Ambrose gets over and the fucking crowd loses their shit. And they're like, fucking yeah, this is amazing. Reigns comes in and cashes in. Or he even cashes in on Rollins. Rollins gets over, gets his belt back, comes in. Then you have Rollins obviously would have to go face.
Yeah, but he's too over as a heel. Why would you do that? He's been so over as a heel. Why turn him face is the one.
Because if you're turning Reigns.
But even then, and turning Reigns heel now.
Or you put the belt on Ambrose, have Reigns cash in, keeps Rollins as a heel, then you can feud with Brock Lesnar. Because Brock Lesnar is set to return right now.
Yeah.
So I kind of expect Lesnar to show up at Money in the Bank.
I want to see Lesnar show up. This is my bold prediction. Lesnar shows up fucking F5s everybody, climbs the ladder himself and grabs the belt and walks away with it and says, I'm not number one. I'm not the briefcase, I should say. And say, I'm not the number one contender. Yeah, I dare you to take this briefcase away from me because I say I'm the number one contender because you know what? I have a rematch clause anyway. So before anybody gets a shot, it's going to be me.
Oh, shit.
That would be fun, but I don't think it'll happen. But if I could book if I could book it, that's how I would do it. Because you know what? The Money in the Bank has become a little too predictable where you know the guy's going to cash in and win. So let's play around with it a bit and just throw people off. And it would be huge news to have Brock back because it already seems like it's been way too long.
Or if you're going to give the Money in the Bank to someone, don't make him wait a year before cashing in.
That too.
Cash right away.
Yeah.
If you're going to switch the belt anytime soon, then use that Money in the Bank to switch that belt.
And I didn't realize because I haven't been following wrestling enough over the last, I don't know how long Money in the Bank has even been around for now. But basically the formula is when it's a heel, it's a slow burn before they cash in. But when it's a face who wins the briefcase, they cash in pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
So
and they announce sometimes when they want to add La Cena, you know, against RVD or whatever it was.
Right.
Day, where I'm going to cash in next week, so get ready instead of have that element of surprise.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I think Reign gets it, and I think he turns on, and I think Ambrose gets over, and I think then something with Lesnar to the avail of let's start building that feud of Rollins Lesnar for SummerSlam, because who else is Lesnar is definitely going to be at SummerSlam. Who else are you going to have feuding him except fucking Roman against Rollins? You know, he's the guy, and then take the belt away. You don't need the belt for that. I don't think Lesnar if you're going to put the belt back on Lesnar, putting it back at WrestleMania next year would probably make more sense.
Do you want to have it back on a guy who's only going to show up every once in a while as opposed to having the belt on TV every week, right?
Yeah,
That's the other argument. But I don't know. I'd like to see something really cool thinking outside the box because it just seems too obvious for Roman Reigns to win because he's the only one you can really take seriously as a contender or who's relevant within the whole feuding with the current champion or maybe possible to be champion. At least there's a tie-in with him and Ambrose, and that could be interesting. Or you don't have him turn heel just yet, and you have Ambrose win, and all of a sudden, you know, because they've been buddies, you know, best friends, you know.
That could work too. They've been
BFFs now on TV for the last little while, so now you have them feud, and then the slow burn for Reigns to turn heel. I don't know. There's a few different avenues. I
think it would be good because you could go 3-4 weeks without having them fight, just having build it up to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Having in tag teams together versus bad guys and have them rub shoulders. Oh, fuck. Like, why'd you hit me? Or shit like that.
Yeah, you can play that out a bit. Because nobody else. I mean, Ziggler, no. Sheamus would be the other obvious choice within, you know, the WWE universe and as far as having a big bad guy as number one contender who could be legitimate. But, you know it's not going to be Kofi, although I'd love to see that. Like I said, the whole angle play out with the New Day, all claiming to be number one contenders.
That's my wild horse. I think that's my dark horse.
Neville, Neville ain't winning just yet.
Orton, why would you give it back to Orton? You're taking him out of the title picture. Why you just catapult him right back in? You know, and maybe Kane wins.
Oh God, I hope not.
I really hope not, but I'll
do something stupid like just the briefcase back to Seth. So here you go. You don't have to worry. I don't know.
There's so many. The wheels are turning, right?
But that's it. But you could play around. If you did it outside of just a straight up winning and being the number one contender, you could have a lot of fun with some different ideas.
Yeah.
If you wanted to think outside the box and do something to throw people off. So but still, I'd love to see Brock just come in and clean house and say, "Fuck it, I'm taking the belt."
Well, I think
I'm taking the briefcase.
There's a big chance that he is. If he doesn't, he's going to show up on Raw the next week, the next day. So let's hope for that.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, that's it. We're running out of time. Thanks for the listeners for tuning in. Thanks for dropping by and doing this.
Hey, no problem. It was fun, man. I missed it.
Awesome. And thanks for everybody that tuned in. If you want to follow the podcast on Twitter, that's at PWC_podcast. That's at PWC_podcast. I'm your host. You can follow me on Twitter too, at Steph Paulin, at STPHPAULIN. And JFlynn MTL for you, right? On Twitter?
Same old handle.
Facebook, you can check us out on Facebook everywhere. Check it, blah, blah, blah. Thanks again. Download on SoundCloud and iTunes. And so we'll check you back next week. I have a guest lined up for next week. I'll be announcing it on social media, so follow up to get more information.
Ooh, suspense.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Yeah.
Or have all the Nitro matches. Or if you're
Yeah.
into WCW Thunder, you can have all the... I don't know who that would be, but you know what I mean? But...
You want to watch that Van Hammer versus Ken Norton match from '98?
Like Hugh Morris, I was watching. They have like every Thursday. I know the network by heart now. So on Thursday they have Clash of the Champions. Mm-hmm. They always have an episode. And yesterday they had an episode. It was Clash of Champions 6 from 1988, I believe. And it was Flair versus Steamboat. Steamboat was the NWA champ.
Oh yeah, that's
it was pre WCW, and it was a 60-minute time limit, and it was best 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, that
and it went like 50 minutes. Flair ended up losing, but he had his foot on the rope, and the ref didn't see it. I was like amazed.
You gotta
they
protect
don't
Flair.
see that anymore, man.
No. I was watching part of the preview of the Brian Daniel Bryan documentary.
Yes,
that WWE's coming out. Daniel Bryan, because we're talking
yes,
WWE
yes.
universe, right? But he was talking about what his goals are for the future, and he's already headlined WrestleMania. He's won the belt, but he says, my next goal, he goes, my goal always was to wrestle a 3-hour match. And that probably won't happen in the WWE, but it's been a long time since we've had a 60-man Iron Man match, so that would be something I'd like to do. And yeah, that would be cool, because we don't see that stuff anymore.
But it used to happen a lot in the indies, because I was watching the CM Punk. Did you watch
CM
the
Punk
CM
versus
Punk
Samoa Joe had some great battles that went to the 60-minute time draw.
And they did it week after week after week.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Because they used to, it's like the same match, well, not the same match, but the same opponents, week after week after week, they would have a 60-minute
Yeah, that feud
match.
was awesome. Yeah.
You got guys I see now that wrestle for eight minutes. Was that my door that just someone knocked at my door?
Was it?
I don't care.
I don't know.
They wrestle like a 6-minute match and they seem blown out.
Yeah,
or they seem like they're so used to wrestling. Like it really makes me.
Well, we've seen some longer matches as of late, especially on Raw. I mean, we've seen a few 12, 15-minute matches,
fine,
which is a nice change of pace. And if you compare the product to a few years ago, the mic time and promo time has dropped significantly in favor of more wrestling time. And have you also noticed they're starting to use the word wrestling again and wrestler?
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And it's kind of stupid that I'm saying this because obviously it's pro wrestling, but no, Vince McMahon for the longest time,
it's sports entertainment.
It's sports entertainment, right? And they would not refer to their guys as wrestlers or pro wrestlers. No. They were superstars.
That's right.
And now finally, I've heard a few people let the W word out. And I was like, wow, are we really going back to our old school ways? Maybe.
And you're a smart guy and you understand how the business works.
Yeah, recently, reinvigorated as a wrestling fan. Well, towards our last few, well, no, more than the last few, but even on the Modern Maverick podcast, we started to discuss our love for wrestling, kind of being reignited by some awesome programming in NXT, which I've absolutely fallen in love with over the last 8 to 10 months, I guess.
The NXT product is by far something that's in right now because of what's in pro wrestling it's indie wrestling.
Yeah.
ROH and everything else, it's definitely a different product. And I was watching the episode this week, and one thing that surprised me is that how much they can actually fit in 1 hour.
Yeah.
And then it makes me think, I'm like, I watch Raw, and then the first 2 hours, sometimes there's 3 wrestling matches. 2 hours, 3 wrestling match. I watch 1 hour of NXT, and there's 5, sometimes 6 matches.
Yeah, and 2 of those matches are women's matches, which is even more incredible.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah.
You know, and it blows my. But let's face it, the women talent in NXT is by far better than I wouldn't say by far because there's a few wrestlers on the main roster that are pretty good.
There's a couple, but the rest of them must be shitting their pants right now because as soon as these girls get called up, man, some of them are going to look
if something
really
happens
bad
to Vince McMahon tomorrow and he's unable to be the main guy at WWE and Triple H and Stephanie become in charge like they are in NXT, there's definitely changes on the horizon.
Oh yeah,
especially when it comes to the women's division, and I believe the tag team as well.
Yeah, maybe they can start calling it the women's division again instead of the divas.
I've been saying this for a while now. I've been talking to my girlfriend. I said, I remember the women's division, and I think I think that WWE has invested so much into Diva, like that
name, the brand, especially with the reality show.
Yeah.
Which is a guilty pleasure of mine, by the way.
Yeah, me too. I watch it. I hate on the network that it's just repeat for like a week and a half until there's a new episode.
Yeah, where's my on-demand? God damn.
I have it on demand now with Videotron.
It works, yeah.
And it's not that good.
It's not that good?
Nah, it's not like in the state. Like I can't go and search like I want to watch an episode of Raw from 1997.
But on your computer you can't do that?
It doesn't work the same.
God
unless I haven't figured it out 100%. But it's like you click on something like if I want to watch like a Jake the Snake Roberts match from whatever, like I've heard that on the network in the state you can just have all the match.
Maybe not quite that much, but
I remember John Cena used to always call it pro wrestling for a lot of the time. Then he used to apologize in the back sometimes. He'd cut a promo and then he'd say, I'm sorry. And then he'd call it pro wrestling or he'd call it wrestling.
Sure.
That's what it is at the end of the day. Yeah. Like there's a lot of years that I went and I didn't watch Raw or SmackDown, like the 2001 to like a lot of the whatever the era they used to call that, like that following the Attitude Era.
Yeah, they had the Ruthless Aggression Era.
Yeah,
which were apparently we missed some good matches. I was reading up on the history of it when Paul Heyman was running SmackDown, when they had Edge and Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit and those guys all kind of feuding and having these great matches week to week. Apparently that was a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Imagine.
I don't know. I wasn't watching.
They're amazing wrestlers.
Because
like Eddie Guerrero and what Angle was there as well. Like, as much as Angle, you hate or love Angle, I mean,
he was amazing.
He was good.
He's still great in the ring, but I mean, he's not
the comedic sense from Angle is really something that I love. I love watching. But I think NXT and its popularity is making a big difference when it comes to how people view wrestling and how they put the product out there now. How WWE, like Vince McMahon, kind of has to go, okay, I get it. You know, I'm sure Triple H and Stephanie are like, we have to do this. We have to give this more time. We have to, less of the...
I've read some interviews with Triple H that basically said that Vince McMahon does not watch much of NXT. He doesn't really know what's going on down there that much.
So he doesn't know a lot of the wrestlers.
He doesn't, apparently, and it really is in the hands of Triple H to be running that show, and he's putting it in the hands of the performers themselves to do what they want to do and to deliver the promos they want to deliver and to work the matches they want to work.
If you look behind the scene,
of course,
like they've shown a few clips of behind the scene in NXT, and he's involved in like the promo, how the guy walks to the ring and how the camera is positioned and stuff like that. And then they basically give it to the guy. You do whatever, you come up with something, and if we'll tweak it, but if it's good, it's good. You just go on and do it.
That's it.
There's none of that in WWE.
No, they've kind of really stifled their creativity.
They kind of go, all these guys are established.
Yeah.
Their entrance, everything, just come out to the ring, cut your promo, and everybody expects you to say this and do this. And then
we've seen exceptions.
Match. Yeah.
It's a shame that he got injured, but Tyson Kidd was doing some great stuff with Cesaro. I mean, another thing that's been, that's kind of been brought back to life is the tag team division in the WWE, right? I mean, we've got some legitimate tag teams now, and it sucks that Tyson Kidd just got hurt.
Yeah.
In a match with Samoa Joe, no less, which is even more.
The only man to ever walk in the Hemsley Palace with a T-shirt and jeans on while everybody else was standing in line to get in. And they said, yes, sir, Mr. Rhodes, come and sit down. That's the American dream, Dusty Rhodes. That's the wine and diner with kings and queens. That's the man that rolls in the mud with the brothers. That's the same guy. The only man that when he goes to New Orleans, Louisiana, doesn't get charged, you understand, by the agency escorting, if you will. That's Dusty Rhodes, the American dream.
Oh, yeah!
Best there is, the best there was, or the best there ever will be.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man.
And that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold sucks.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pro Wrestling Central. What up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Pro Wrestling Central. Today, we're going to talk about Money in the Bank. We're also going to talk about this week's episode of NXT. In studio, I have my good friend, JFlynn, former co-host of the Modern Maverick podcast. been a while since you sat in that chair. And I've been in contact with him the last couple of weeks. I said, yeah, I got to come on my pro wrestling podcast. And with Money in the Bank coming out on Sunday, we decided to drop by and talk about Money in the Bank.
Yeah, well, Mr. Money on the mic.
Money on the mic.
What is up? It has been a long time, my friend.
Jesus, man. It's been a really
Sorry, I'm
long
getting
time.
extra loud. We're all worried about the microphone levels now. I just got extra enthusiastic.
Okay, I see my levels on the screen, and it went boom.
Boom. Yeah, that's the extra sip of coffee there.
It's all good, man. It's been a while since
Yeah,
you've been here. Actually,
Yes.
the last time I saw you was, man, I can't even think the last time we got together.
Last time, yeah, it's been a little while.
Definitely saw you somewhere not here.
No, was that Mike and Lisa's, I think, maybe? Could it be? I don't even know. No?
Oh, man, that was a long time ago.
I don't know. Yeah, that was even longer.
Wow.
I don't know.
For your birthday, I think. Was it?
Fuck, I don't know.
That was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Anyway, a lot of things have happened since we last saw each other. I've been busy, and with this new podcast of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for, I know you're a pro wrestling fan, like me.
Yeah. Well, I have a bummer because now you're worried. Oh, no. Are they worried that Joe's an unsafe worker? Are they going to take away the muscle buster from him? But apparently it was a fluke injury, if you hadn't heard. But he might be out for like a year.
Oh, yeah. He fucked up his neck really bad.
But Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, I liked what they brought because there was something kind of creative and different, and they were really embracing the fact that they were a tag team, whether it came to the cool outfits and jackets they would get from week to week, the different poses they would do, and, from doing the Hadouken and coming down the ramp and doing the outsider point. And then they had the Rick Steiner thing where he ran through the legs like Rick used to run between the legs of Scott. Just embracing all this different stuff and just kind of being fresh and unique.
They looked like they were having fun with it.
And they looked like they were having fun.
Because they were kind of thrown together as guy Cesaro. We don't really know what to do with him. So, and Tyson Kidd, like, let's put you guys together. Yeah. And they embraced it. They're like, let's make something big, and they became tag team champions.
Well, first of all, they're two of the best technical wrestlers on the roster. I mean, Cesaro he's probably maybe the best wrestler in the world.
He's fucking retarded.
He's insane.
Yeah.
Like, he really is a marvel.
Yeah.
And the only thing that hurts him is the fact that he's Swiss and he's got a bit of an accent and lacks a bit of charisma, I guess.
Yeah, definitely lacks some charisma.
But,
it helps that he's with Tyson Kidd, because I think if you give Tyson Kidd the mic, which we haven't seen, I don't think WWE either trust him. I think he has a lot of charisma.
I think so too. I think Cesaro does as well.
Yeah.
It's just that it comes off in a certain way that I think it would throw the average fan off. The average American who likes to see their hometown boy go, who's this guy with the funny accent?
Yeah.
And he's got a certain style that he's developed. I've seen more stuff from them and heard more stuff from them on like the pre-shows, on the WWE network before a pay-per-view, before WrestleMania. They were with the pre-show panel, and they had a pretty good bit where he was busting Byron Saxton balls for a while. So you see they can be funny, but actually on TV, no, you don't really hear them talk.
It's a shame. You always see the same guys cutting the promos. But at least it gives me as a fan and a guy that now is kind of part of the business, gives me hope that it's on the rise. Because for a while the product was and you kind of like, and it was lacking superstar for a very long time. And now they're kind of building up, like with Kevin Owens now coming on the main roster and people starting to know who he is, and this guy just beat John Cena, the staple of WWE, in his first official match on the main roster, and now it's like instant feud.
Yeah,
they're doing a good job.